Welcome to Take It from the Ironwoman. My name is Susanne Müller, your host and the Ironwoman. This podcast is about empowering yourself and others to make real changes in the world. You will hear from everyday, smart, sophisticated, hip people like you and me. Not everybody has to be an Ironwoman to impress the world. Together, we will learn from the sports and business leaders how you can become a more successful person as an entrepreneur or a leader. It's one step at a time, one day at a time. Take your steps now. Take your big steps now. Join me on this journey to success. Take it from the Ironwoman. We only have special guests, and today an honor to talk to Janice. Janice was actually a student in my first class. I was teaching coaching. So maybe, Janice, tell us a little bit, how was that class and where are you today?
Well, the class was excellent. The program at NYU really got us off to a great start in terms of our life coaching skills. I'm still coaching today in a weekly coaching group called the Seasonal Healthy Habits Collective, where we teach women. I teach African-American women to be a little healthier each day, because it is not just what you eat and how much you exercise. Health is so much more. In the Seasonal Sisters world, it's how you communicate with yourself and others and how strong your connections are. So that's kind of where I took the whole coaching program from NYU. Susanne? Mm-hmm. Yeah, thank you for having me too. I appreciate it.
These were the early days, right? And on your bio, it says impactful, motivating, inspiring. And I get your weekly emails and I try to read it every single time because I get a little inspiration for myself. How did you get then into the life coaching? Was that always something, or was there a pivotal moment in your life?
Well, I got into life coaching, and I particularly was introduced to the field of coaching maybe 10 years ago when I took the class at NYU. But before that, a friend of mine said to me, this is something that you're interested in, because before I started coaching, I had an email that went out that was called One Fact, One Tip, and One Recipe for Healthy Living. I started that email because many of my friends were, running through drive-thrus every day, not eating right, gaining weight. And in the job that I was in at the time, I could see the end result of all of that. I was working for Pfizer as a salesperson, and my products were for hypertension, cholesterol, diabetes, arthritis. It was really a lesson to be able to see what your body and your mind looks like in full form after 20 years of that, 30 years of that. And I just didn't want them to have that as an experience. Reading those emails, my friend was, what you're doing is coaching, but you don't even know it, even though you only have 11 people on your email list. And that's when I decided to go to NYU.
You have to be grateful to your friend who sent you to NYU and says you are a coach. And in one of your testimonial, it says, I have struggled for many years with staying consistent and sticking with my exercise routines. Seasonal Sisters have gently held me accountable, and I'm more consistent than I've ever been. What a nice testimonial.
I thought that was so wonderful. And watching her transformation from not being so consistent to being consistent, and how that really impacted her life at a time when there was a lot of stressors. People have different stressors in different seasons of their life. There may be a season where there's an illness of a parent, or you are ill, or a family member is ill, and that even requires more focus on your own personal healthy habits and really cooking up a recipe for yourself that makes sense and committing to it, because it only makes you feel better. And that's kind of what we do on the podcast and in the coaching group. We try to inspire people to make that type of commitment that makes an impact in their life, because when you're not healthy, it really impacts what you can do, and that impacts your earning potential, and that impacts everything else in your world. It's imperative to be healthy.
And tell us a little bit more about your coaching groups. Who is coming and what do you discuss?
I think actually the people who are in my coaching group are empty nesters, women who are in their career, probably on the last quarter of their career, about to retire, thinking about retirement and thinking, hey, how am I going to be impactful for the next number of years in my life? Where do I want to make that impact? What are the things that I want to be involved in on a daily basis? And how can I care for myself so that I'm here and nimble and sexy and all of the things for the next number of years or however long you live? So a little being healthy goes a long way in your life. We talk about those things, but more importantly, we talk about how the scientific behavior around the science behind behavior change and how to actually change your behavior. And we talk about cooking. We talk about how to talk to yourself, how talking to yourself is such an important part of being healthy and how it helps your relationships in communicating with others. And in this age group, sometimes there's a lot of isolating going on. People are not maybe where they want to be financially. They're maybe not where they want to be with their health. And that might cause some isolation. We encourage everyone to courageously connect with groups that lift them, that are wind in their sails, not lead weights, because we know there are groups that can be lead weights.
And for the listeners, give us some examples if you would like to share on self-talk.
Well, I'll tell you, one of the books, because in each season we read a book in the Seasonal Sisters Healthy Habits Collective. So a number of seasons ago, we read The Light We Carry by Michelle Obama. And in one of the chapters, Michelle Obama talked about the self-critic. I said, well, dog, if Michelle Obama has a self-critic, we just don't have a chance. We definitely have one too. And we can't deny it. We have to learn how to say, hey, I see you. And thank you for that comment. And then we also recognize in the form that Tara Brach inspires us to, is to recognize that we're not the only person feeling that way or saying that to ourselves, getting into the common humanity of that, but sitting with that feeling. And after we do that, say something kind to ourselves that we would say to a friend. We do have a self-compassion practice that I teach that is rooted right in Tara Brach's practice of self-compassion. She is the mother of all self-compassion tools. It's funny, in the coaching world, we think everybody knows about these things, but everybody doesn't know about these things. We can introduce the concepts, and people who want to dive deeper can dive right into her work and go deeper into it. So I find that having a self-compassion practice is very important to silencing that ruminating negative thought that might be telling you something that might have been true 15 years ago, but isn't true today. Is that helpful? Is that an example?
I love it. Yeah. And I think we're our own worst critics. Like, we look into the mirror in the morning, we're like, oh, I look tired. Well, can we maybe say, hello, good morning? It changes the way you talk to yourself. And also it can be much more uplifting than rather say, oh, your eyes look puffy or something like that. Don't be so critical about yourself. And I like the book, The Art of Possibility by Zander, where they say, don't take yourself so serious, because nobody's perfect. And I think if you smile a little more and be more compassionate, life gets a little easier.
Absolutely. We don't have a team. Regular people don't have a team of people getting them ready for every day of their life. Like the Instagram standard is very tough, and people get caught up in that, and it's not healthy. So it's a good reminder. I mean, we get into a lot of different things because we take for granted our body so much. I like to bring in body astrology because it's fun. Everybody knows their zodiac sign, right? But people really don't know that their zodiac sign is related to a part of the body. So we just go through the parts of the body and talk about metaphors that may be present there. Each month we go through a part of the body, each zodiac sign. But right now, when we are recording this, we are in Aries, which is in the month of April. And that's the beginning of the zodiacal year. That starts at your head and you work your way down. And we just ended in Pisces, which is the feet. So it just goes all the way through. It just gives us a chance to, when are you thinking about everything that goes on in your head? When are you thinking about your eyes, your ears, your nose, your mouth, your brain, like all of these things? When are you thinking about that? So we just hone in on that. And we talk a little bit about that. I introduced that topic. And we also talk about, sometimes I'll pull a card. I have a card deck called the Seasonal Sisters Healthy Habits card deck. And it's literally healthy habits. You can pull a card and it can be a healthy habit. You don't have to learn anything. You don't have to know the tarot. You don't have to know astrology. You don't have to know your chakras. You don't have to read a novel. You pull a card, boom, it might tell you to go for a walk. It might tell you to plan for making a meal at home in 2 days. It might tell you to try straw breathing. And that comes with an accompanying ebook that has links in it. It's just really a nice way to add fun, healthy habits because some people just don't know what to do. They're just in a season where they're like, gosh, I've been doing the same thing for so long. I'm bored.
And I think sometimes when I'm listening to you, I'm like, oh, this sounds lovely, easy, practical, pragmatic. But in a way, what I see is people are looking for something that doesn't exist. But then when you get something easy, practical, you're like, that's what I need at this time. Healthy habits, right?
In this season, we do want to have, this is the age of yesterday, it could have been done. When really being healthy and happy, it's an investment and it doesn't happen overnight. You train for an Ironman. That is a serious commitment.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of commitment that we have to have for our health and happiness. It doesn't have to be as grueling as Ironman training because I can only imagine training for a 2.25 mile swim in an open water. That is some serious training. A whole marathon of running and 100-mile bike or
110,
something?
112 miles on the bike.
Right.
Yeah.
So that is some serious training where one of the healthy habits might be look in the mirror and smile. You know what I mean? That's a lot easier, but these things have been scientifically proven to improve your mood because I like to keep the science of mood improvement in all of my work because that's important because sometimes people are doing stuff and it's not helping them achieve their goals.
I couldn't agree more with you. Sometimes I'm like, it has to work for you. Whatever the coaches or the thought leaders or whoever says, it has to work for you. If it doesn't work, like we know that Robin Sharma says at 5 o'clock, get up. I can get up at 5, but then I have a headache at 3 in the afternoon. Does not work for me. I can get up at 6:30, 6 o'clock. It has to work for you.
It has to be easy also.
Yes.
It can't be complicated. It's really got to be able to fit. And that's why when we talk about creating a recipe for your healthy living, it literally is about what recipe is going to work for you because everybody's recipe is not the same, but it includes a little bit of the same stuff. The overarching areas are about the same, but it's going to be a little different. And that's what we do in the Seasonal Sisters Healthy Habits Collective is help you to figure out your recipe for healthy living and be consistent at it. Because once you are mindful that you need this, you get prepared with what you need to get it done, you'll feel so good that you will be consistent. I guarantee it. It just is.
I love it. And the listener, you should see her smile. This was always something I remember, her beautiful smile.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Yes.
Yeah.
That's part of what keeps me healthy. So much literature on smiling. There's different types of smiles. And the smile that moves up the corners of the mouth, the Duchenne smile, that smile is genuine, and it reduces the stress in you and it reduces the stress in the receiver. That is so important to begin and end conversations with, because it gives you an entryway where you've already reduced the stress. You've already broken down a barrier to entry by smiling when you say hello to someone. Tip number 1, smile.
What do you do to rejuvenate, to keep up your good energy?
I have set the huge, big, hairy, audacious goal of walking at least 30 minutes every day, because I read in a book by Dr. Katy Milkman in The Science of Behavior Change. One of the people in there said that she was going to exercise. She was going to run something every day. But of course, there were days that she missed, days that she didn't. You give yourself a mulligan. But if you had never set that high bar of doing something every day, if you set it for 3 days a week, you miss 1 or 2 days, you only got 1 day in. You set it for 7 days a week, 365 days a year, you're probably going to get 300 days. Maybe you miss 60 a year, maybe even less than that. That's more health for me. And that keeps my energy high. And I think that that's something that has really been on my radar for the number of years. And I encourage everybody to do it.
And do you always go the same route, or do you change?
No, I change. I do change. I do it in different parts of the city. I do it every day in different areas. Yep.
And I think that's the recipe to success, right? Change up things, do pragmatic things, easy things that are fun, smile more.
Everybody's recipe is different. But if I had to make up a recipe, it would definitely include moving your body more, eating more seasonal vegetables, getting a waking up and going to bed routine so that your rest is right, drinking more water, and just being grateful. Gratitude is a big, important part of keeping your life on the track that you want it to be on. So I think those are some of my personal favorites.
Thank you so much for sharing all your wisdom. And let's see that all the listeners are walking half an hour every day. Thank you so much, Janice. Wonderful to catch up with you, and good luck with your program.
Will do. Have a great day.
Okay, thank you. What a wonderful discussion with Janice. Create your healthy habits. Take it from the Ironwoman. We have episodes every Monday. Learn with us, learn from others, and create your happy and healthy lifestyle. And also download or get the book, Take It from the Ironwoman, Global Business Coaching with Sports Parallels. See you next time, and thank you for your support.